Hello, good evening, friends. God bless you. And today I wanted to speak about warfare. Whether you believe it or not, we are in a battle. Devil does not take break, vacation, holidays, or weekend. He doesn't sleep. He is relentlessly waging war against us. And when you think about the war, normally uh, we know that to win the war, you need to develop a plan. You need to develop a strategy. You need to know who your enemy is. You need to know what enemy's weaknesses are. You need to know where enemy's places are. You need to know how to access enemy. You need to know, find out where enemy is hiding. So you need to develop a strategy to win this war, win the battle against the devil. Just like in a normal war, you will see people develop, or the military generals develop, the experts develop the strategy. They gather intelligence about the enemy, and based on that intelligence, they develop their strategy. So when I was reading 2 Corinthians chapter 10, two verses caught my eye, and something what I observed I wanted to share with you. So let me read first 2 Corinthians chapter 10, 4 and 5. It says, I'm reading from a New King James Version. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty in God for pulling down strongholds, casting down arguments, and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ. So off the bat, from this, from the beginning of this scripture, Paul is saying that, look, our weapons are very powerful. We have a very powerful weapons. It's mighty in God's power, and the power is so strong that it can pull down the strongholds. Now, strongholds, it's a very interesting word. Like earlier I said, you need to know who your enemy is. So in this case, our enemy is devil. Devil is relentlessly fighting against us. He wants to destroy us. We need to find out where he is hiding. And in this scripture, in the passages, we read that the devil is hiding in a stronghold. Yes, Bible is talking about we are hiding ourselves in the mighty stronghold, who is our God. In God we are hiding ourselves. He is our stronghold. But also, devil is hiding in a stronghold. We need to find out who builds his hiding place or his stronghold. So, and then Paul says that we can tear down his stronghold. Now, the word stronghold is, the Greek word is used called okoroma. Okoroma is basically a castle or fortress. You have seen so many castle and fortress, so you know that we cannot just go and fight if somebody's hiding inside the castle or behind the fortress. We need a power. Now the God has given us that power, our weapons, that we can penetrate the stronghold, we can demolish. So devil is hiding in the stronghold. Now who built that stronghold for devil? Of course God will not build, but devil is so crafty. He is using our ability, our thoughts, our effort to build a stronghold in our mind for him to hide. So basically, every time when we believe a lie that devil brings to us, we are fortifying his castle, we are fortifying his stronghold, we are fortifying his fortress. And he's getting stronger and stronger every day because he kept bringing lies after lies after lies and he's building his castle. He's using us to make his hiding place, his fortress. So now we know that who is our enemy, devil, where he's hiding in a fortress. Who builds the fortress? He's using us to build his fortress using lies, and then he's hiding there. And then we frustrate why our life is so miserable, why there is no joy, why there is no peace, why I am always behind. So now we know the enemy and how he's hiding, and Paul says that we have power to tear down this castle, enemies, that means devil's castle that we have helped him to build. Now, how to access there? How to go there? Because it is not, you need to go closer to the castle, to the fortress, and Paul further down says the casting down imagination. First he says that we can demolish the stronghold, but we have to demolish the imagination. The imagination word here used is a Greek word logismos, from which we received our today's word logical. Logical means we collect the information, and both that information we made the conclusion, we draw the bottom line, we decide that because of certain things this is the way it will go. That's a logical thing. So Paul says that first of all you need to, and the logical is the biggest thing that we have to, our logic, our reasoning, computation, that needs to go first. Imagination, logical reasoning must go first. So when Israelites were standing in front of the Red Sea, the logical thing is you can't go across the sea. That's a logical thing. You can't go across it. But Bible is teaching us, Paul says that remove that logic, that what can be done, what cannot be done. And this is how we are reasoning everything, that this is how our life would be, this is the way we will live, or this we can do, we cannot do, or God can help us, or God will not help us. We have so many imaginations. Paul says that remove that imagination, tear down your imagination first, then you can have. The next thing Paul says that now tear down also high, or cast down let me read. Cast down arguments, every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God. Every high thing, cast it down, tear it down. Every high thing that is against the knowledge of God. What is a high thing? The Greek word used here called hapsoma. Hapsoma is the simple way, it is a barrier, elevated structure. When you see in a construction site or on a road construction, everywhere you see the barrier. So you cannot cross over. You cannot go beyond that point. So there are barriers. So remove the logic thinking that we cannot cross over the sea. I am giving you an example. Also remove that high thing, the barrier that we have created by ourselves. And how we create? Believing the lies. We say that this is my life. I will be remaining lonely always. I will be alone always. I will broke always. There is no hope for me. We are building a barrier. So Paul says that remove the logical reasoning, remove these barriers, high thing against the knowledge of God. What is the knowledge of God? Knowledge of His God is a personal relationship, personal knowledge about God, that God is for me, God is not against me. The truth, whatever Bible says that it is true, that I am victorious, I will conquer, that is the truth, because God is with me. 1 John 4:17 says that as Jesus is, so are we in this world. Not when we die. It says that as Jesus is, so are we in this world. We are righteous as Jesus is righteous. We are holy as Jesus is holy. We are acceptable in God's eyes as Jesus is acceptable in the sight of God in this world. Paul says that remove every barrier that is against the knowledge of God. So Paul says that know your enemy, tear down his stronghold that was built by ourselves, believing his lies, remove any barriers about the truth of God, and then you remove every normal reasoning that we become logical conclusion. Remove all these things, and then Paul says that bring every thought in the obedience to Christ. Now, for the thought also, very interesting word Paul is using is a noema. Noema is a perception. You see, the things that has not happened, but we perceive that certain way it will happen. That's a perception. Israelites complained to Moses that you brought us out here to die in a desert. They have not died yet, but their perception is we are going to die. And devil has ability to find our weaknesses. Devil will never come from the front door. He will come from the weakest point, which is our perception. How we see God. Are you seeing God is an angry God? Are you seeing God is punishing me? Are you seeing God is not for me? That are the weakest things. Scripture doesn't say that. Devil comes and he uses our perception. Bring every thought, that means bring every noema, every perception we have about God. It is wrong, and it says bring it to Jesus Christ. Captive, give it to Jesus Christ. You might be thinking that God is against me, and come to Christ and say, Jesus, this is the lie I started believing. Can you take it away? Bring every perception that is against the scripture about yourself, about God, and then bring it to Jesus. And that is the way we can expose the devil, we can tear down his castle, we can make him run, and we have the victory, because Paul starts it, for the weapon of our warfare are not carnal but mighty in God for pulling down every stronghold. You can tear down devil's stronghold, devil's castle by removing every barrier, by removing every logical explanation, by removing every perception, and not helping devil to build or fortify fortress by another lie. And if you do that, Paul said that you will have a victory. That is the end result. I hope that you will read 2 Corinthians chapter 10. It's entirely about the warfare, but particularly verse 4 and 5. And I believe that God has blessed you.